So really, so what is the sort of the bottom line of all of this kind of business? These techniques work because people are predisposed. They have a natural tendency to propagate negative and novel information. Now, some anthropologists will tell you that, well, this is kind of natural. Being sensitive to negative things is kind of a self-defense, a survival mechanism. But the fact is that we are very sensitive to negative things, and bad news sells much better than good news. I mean, this is everybody. This is a well-known fact for a long time. The other thing to keep in mind is that, up until recently, most of the media that we've had to deal with, social media, has been text-centric. So, it's typing. I mean, Facebook and Twitter and all of these other things were started out, as being text-oriented. Now, later, they started to introduce the possibility of putting up images and videos and so on, but still, the platforms were constructed to be text-centric. But the next generation of social media is what I would call social multimedia, which is going to be multimedia-centric, where the key thing that, you're really building around communicating with multimedia. So interestingly enough, one of the first steps, I would say, on the next stage in the evolution of social media to social multimedia is, for example, TikTok. So TikTok is a platform where you'll never see text. I mean, that's just not part of the thing. So there have been earlier, what I call proto-social media, social multimedia, like Instagram and even YouTube, you can think of it in that way. But TikTok is really the first built up from the ground to be multimedia-centric. And that was only the beginning. You're just starting to see the evolution tools. You see, one of the things about text-centric social media that made it so useful for all kinds of tricks is that text was easy to produce. Well, what happens when multimedia becomes equally easy to produce? So right now, okay, everybody can take pictures with their mobile phones, and yes, I know that's fine. But when there's tools that become readily available that allow you to produce multimedia with a real message in it, that you can do it without any real skill, that's when things will really start to get interesting. And those tools are rapidly approaching. I mean, they're coming down the line. Some of them are already available, but they're being developed, and they're coming more and more. And you're going to see a few examples of it shortly. So I would say that while we haven't even started to learn how to deal with the text-centric disinformation problems, things are about to get a lot worse when we introduce social multimedia. And you've heard these terms, deep fakes, other kinds of things, deep fakes, cheap fakes. I'm going to show you a few examples just to get you oriented into what I'm talking about.